So you're going to be recording a film. The first step you need to think about is planning. What you'll need to do when you're planning is that you will need a storyboard. Here is an example of a storyboard, basically boxes where you're going to say what you're going to do at each step of your filming. It is really important to plan it so you know what you need to record and so you have a story arc. So you can tell, even if it's a documentary, whatever it is you're filming, even for this, I needed to know exactly where I wanted to go and what points I wanted to make. So it's important to plan it. I would also say for your film, when you go out and film it, it's also important to know what shots you need to or want to take. So you need to actually be able to visualize your film. What is it that I want to be able to see? The next thing you need to think about is equipment. At the school, we've got lots of different types of equipment. It might be you're using a DSLR camera with a tripod. You must have a tripod for one of those for sure because you need to stabilize it. And that will give you a better shot, and also with the lens, when you're zooming in, you will keep that stability in the camera. You might be using your phones or you might be using an iPad, for example, like this. When you're doing that, it's very important that you keep your elbows into your body. So when you're recording, you keep your elbows into your body. By doing that, by keeping your elbows into your body, you stabilize. If I keep it like that, I stabilize the movement and stabilize my camera. If my elbows are out, there's a lot more movement, so you keep them in. The same as if you're using your phone or if you're using your camera. So basically you're using your elbows in the same way you use a tripod. Obviously with the iPad or your phone, you might find another place to stabilize it. So it might be you rest it on something to get a shot that you want. So you need to think, what shots do I want and how can I make sure I get the best quality shot at that time? And I'm assuming within your course you've learnt about the different kinds of shots to decide whether it's a close-up you want, whether you want a medium shot, whether you want to get that feeling of inferiority, so you're going to have like a high angle shot, whether you want to make something more powerful with a low angle shot. So I'm assuming you've done that. What you need to do is make sure when you are filming, every shot is used for a purpose. So when you are taking a shot, there is a reason for you to use that one. You're not doing it because that's the only one you know, it's the easiest. Think, do I want to see their expressions and get right up into a close-up? Or do I want to see more of everything that's going on or have a mid-range shot? What shots do I think are going to get the information across that I want to say? The other thing you need to think about is the shots that are not that practical. For example, if you have your iPad and you try to do a tracking shot, it's going to look jerky. It's not going to give you a good result. So essentially think about what equipment do I have, what shot will I get a good quality shot from. The other thing when you are filming, if you zoom in and zoom out and zoom in and zoom out, you're going to get that feeling of seasickness. Really what you should be doing is filming the same piece twice and then in your edits cutting in the different cuts. That will give you the better quality. Think about the composition of shots. Are you going to frame it? So are you just going to have a picture, the person, for example? Are you going to frame it by having some trees around it? Are you going to frame it by you take your shot through an open window and they're on the other side? Are you going to really think about rule of thirds, which is all your important things will be a transition of one of the thirds. So as you can see here, the important aspects are on one of the thirds, either going that way or going that way. And this actually gives you a nice composite image. So it's a way to compose an image that makes the viewer appreciate it, brings the viewer in. When you come to editing your piece, obviously you'll be thinking maybe about adding some sounds or some further images that aren't necessarily your own. So I will just go on to my list. I'm going to share this list with your teachers, images and sounds here. And here I've got different places where there's some information about camera shots here, so you can get some information about that. And also some places where you can get free images and where you can get sound. Just to be aware, even though this stuff is royalty free, they tend to ask for you to, at the end, to state who it came from. So this is royalty free. So you'll still be expected to credit where the sound is from, but you'll be able to use the sound. If it's not royalty-free music, so say it's a current song, then the rule of thumb for a school project that's not going to go anywhere else would be 10%, because you're using it for fair use, which is 10% of the total length, and you would still be expected to credit it where the music is from. Editing it together. On the iPad, you would use iMovie that's on the iPad. Once you've edited it all together, added your sound, you could then upload it to your Drive account. So then you can then use it, give it to your teachers, pass on the link. If you're using your own machines, most of you, if you've got an Apple, will use iMovie. If you've got Windows, you might use Windows Movie Maker. If you want to do it online, WeVideo is a good one to use. So you can use either of those to create your finished product and then share.